get it. Let's get it. They be your street in the river. And let it go. Shimmy, cocoa, what? Listen to it now. Let's get it. Let's get it, people. We finna try to get to the playoffs. We snowed in down here, so I'm try to play a season in this. I've already started. I'm like 10, 11 games in. Yeah, I'm like 10, 11 games in already. I think I'll show y'all the record. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm 8-5. Eight and five next game. I'm gonna try to play a lot of like key games. So let's get into it.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us here on Active Weather Early. Bernie Reno. I'm Ariella Scalise. It is Wednesday, February 19th. Of course, the snow, the ice, the rain, and then for the majority of the country, it is so cold. Could even be the record coldest for some of us. Boy, especially in the southern United States and eventually the southeast behind our storm. But let's deal with the snow right now. I'll tell you what, we also have soaking rain we've been following.
See what our uniform is.
At this point, no flash flood warnings, but that was earlier in New Orleans. That maybe woke you up earlier. The snow falling into the mid-south, the Midwest, and eventually from the Mid-Atlantic, the flood in. Note the white lines across Texas, follow them, coming all the way from central Canada. It's a very cold air mass. Plunges across the state of Texas. Back to the west coast where we got the return of rain and some snow and ice moving on through. That's going to be the pattern for the next several days. That keeps us dry in SoCal, but does bring some gusty winds back. Widespread cold. In fact, the orange, yellow areas are about, I'd say, 8% of the country. I was going to say 10, so okay, that 8 to 10, yeah. Widespread cold once again across the north central United States.
That's right.
Winter storm that's been the East Coast. As we expect the heavy snow to continue to dump into Virginia, Maryland, and North Carolina.
And we home.
Will also impact the Carolinas, creating very dangerous travel and potential power outages. We're tracking the soaking rain and some thunderstorms moving from west to east, mostly along the Gulf Coast. There is snow falling in northern parts of Alabama, Georgia, and of course the ice we'll see in North Carolina.
I think I might open my door back up. We got cold back here.
As we head toward the end of the week.
I don't know if y'all can.
A beautiful spot, but we're going to be seeing some winter.
Watching the weather a little bit too.
A lot of dry air, so I don't see a snow sky yet. Visibilities are pretty high, the ceilings are, but eventually that snow is going to be coming into Charlottesville.
Let's get it, y'all.
Show you the setup here today. There's our storm along the central Gulf Coast states. Now, it's not coming up the coast because the way in which this jet stream is configured, you see that? It's what I call positively tilted. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. It's tilted from northeast
the southwest.
About an 89 overall.
The steering flow is out of the west-southwest. Now, if this was neutral north to south, or even negative when it is northwest to southeast, that would create a southerly flow, and that would take the storm right up the coast. Then we'd be looking at some big problems. But because of the way it's oriented, tilted, and located, this storm goes out to sea. Northern side of it, though, that's where we're going to have the snow and the ice. It's been snowing all morning here in Nashville. It's about over, just some flurries from here on out. Snow about over in the Louisville area, snowing in Charleston, snowing in Knoxville.
I should have been like 6'11".
Thing is this, you see this little finger, it's almost like a finger in here, right here. That's the atmosphere telling you this is the northern edge.
I need to put me on the hoodie or something.
Washington, D.C., the dryer's in. I think it's going to snow a little bit in Washington, D.C. this afternoon, but it's not going to snow a lot, maybe up to an inch. But certainly the ground and everything is so cold, any snow will accumulate on the roads and make things slippery. Watch Future Radar will bring this eastward. There's the northern edge right around Washington, D.C. Baltimore, here a little snow and flurries as well, but it'll be under an inch of accumulation. Here's the heaviest precipitation in southern parts of Virginia and northern North Carolina. Now, there might be a little ice in Raleigh here, but I think it's mostly going to be snow as we go through this afternoon. Everything runs eastward. I'm going to stop this right around 6 o'clock. Heavier snow around Virginia Beach and the Norfolk area. You're going to get the heaviest out of this. Also, the snow getting up in the southern parts of Maryland and southern Delaware, even toward Wildwood, a period of snow as we head toward this afternoon tonight. Watch the upper low.
Let's get them.
That dip in the jet stream come across Ohio. There's some snow showers from Indianapolis toward Columbus. The storm starts to leave. But what this upper low is going to do is it's going to try to pull this moisture back a little bit to the west-northwest. That'll happen tomorrow as we're tracking some snow showers around Washington, D.C. and Pittsburgh tomorrow morning. Some lingering snow in Virginia Beach, some snow showers in Charlotte and Raleigh. See how this tries to pull northward toward eastern Long Island, the Cape, and the islands, where there will be a period of snow as we head toward tomorrow afternoon. Even in New York City, I think there's a period of snow and flurries with this upper low tomorrow afternoon. Heavy snow 1 inch or greater south of Washington, D.C. We're calling coating to up to an inch in Washington, D.C. here. Richmond, southeastern Virginia, there's going to be several inches of snow here. I want to show you the wintercast for Richmond. 48 inches of accumulation here. Notice there's only a 2% chance of over 8, but a 43% chance of less than 4. So the lowest we could see is 2 or 3. The highest around 8. We like that 4 to 8 for the accumulations right now. Some other accumulations. Let's talk about Knoxville, Tennessee, at coating 1 inch. 2 to 4 inches from Greensboro toward Raleigh. Norfolk, 6 to 10 inches. That includes Virginia Beach. Richmond, as I mentioned, 4 to 8. And let's not forget about that ice. That's going to be nasty from Fayetteville toward Greenville in the eastern parts of North Carolina, where there's going to be a lot of slippery travel and probably some power outages already.
All right. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's a lot of precipitation too.
I got to get him.
Liquid precipitation for a lot of us with heavy rain. Midcast in Mobile does show that there's going to be a break coming up here in a little bit. So let's take it to about 7:31 local time there. Periods of rain will briefly a little bit drier here before rain returns around 7:45. So maybe a 15-minute break. It should just be enough to bring your pets out for a bathroom break this morning without having to have the umbrella with you. For others, we've been dealing with the snow and ice, so winter weather advisory still lingering for much of northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, that's north of Birmingham, north of Atlanta as well, for periods of snow and ice. Where the rain's going to be falling, it's actually rather beneficial. This map really shows where the storm track has been and where the heaviest rain has been over the last 30 days. Of course, into Kentucky, a lot of that coming just over the last 7 days, really through the weekend. But Little Rock, Jackson, Atlanta have all seen more rainfall so far this month than we typically see in February. For others that were in that 10 to below, so nice to get some rain, although it's making for a bit of a miserable Wednesday, a wet Wednesday, if you want to go for an alliteration. The heaviest rain had been falling this morning with thunderstorms, but now just some steadier precipitation across most of North Florida, Alabama, and now moving into southern Georgia. So starting to see the rain increase in an area like Savannah. Farther north, it's the snow and the ice lingering through this Wednesday afternoon. Behind the precipitation, things drying on out, but it is getting windier, and that wind out of the north brings us cold air. We'll see some areas of rain and thunderstorms. Continuing through this afternoon, there's a snapshot about 2 o'clock for South Carolina, Southeast Georgia, and North Florida. So
Get in there.
I would say watch out Tampa and Orlando through this evening as we get some periods of heavy rain and maybe a thunderstorm or two before things sink a little bit farther south and dissipating a bit more before heading towards Miami. Tonight is going to be very, very cold, so also any lingering rain will quickly freeze up tonight. Look at Montgomery and Atlanta down to 26. 31 in New Orleans, 42 with some showers in Jacksonville. There's that rain in Tampa at 55. Thursday will be a dry day, but it's going to be cold.
I'm going to get cooked by him.
To potentially set some records for the coldest high temperatures we've seen. 51, the coldest February 20th in New Orleans back in 1959, and we're forecasting a high of only 47. Jackson likely to be the coldest February 20th that we've seen since 2006. Which was 43. We're forecasting 32 degrees. All right,
he just ain't no defender like that.
Where we look at the other big weather stories that we are following for you today. I sent a text to my good friend who lives there. I said, "I'm staying warm."
Hopefully
I have not gotten the answer yet.
Yes, I'm indoors, and the other thing is it's 15 degrees and it looks bad, very cloudy there, which is typical when you get these blue northers, they call them, these fronts that come through Texas because of the clouds that follow it. And temperatures then, you're 32 degrees below the historical average in Dallas, 23 degrees below the historical average in Houston, 23 in Corpus Christi, 22 in Del Rio. El Paso's near the historical average.
There we go. That's a positive here. The negative is it's going to stay cold and dry as we head throughout the day on Thursday, where some of us haven't even seen the coldest air yet. Houston, I'm looking at you here. Your temperatures drop to the 30s on Friday.
Now, warmer by the time we get into Saturday. El Paso and Albuquerque, that'll hit and start Sunday.
Big story number 2, the brutal cold lingers. Although for some of us, temperatures are higher, but it's still miserably cold.
So 5 today in Minneapolis, 15 in Chicago, 21 degrees in Indianapolis right now. So it's a cold day. Looking for some snow showers as we go through the afternoon.
Yeah, we'll watch those into Michigan and northern Indiana. High pressure, though, keeps the rest of us dry. You can see a cold and snowy view there into Chicago.
Well, we're going to stay below freezing right
What the?
Saturday, but it will warm up by Sunday.
All right, big story number 3 takes us to the west coast here, where the Northwest is dealing with wet and wintry weather.
Yeah, some snow showers around Spokane, soaking rain in Seattle and net for net. This storm then moves south and east Wednesday night and Thursday.
Yeah, low fire risk though with this due to the recent rainfall. Winds could have gust 40 to 60 miles per hour. All right, that's the big 3. What can you tell us about travel today?
So far, so good. We don't have any delays posted on the big board. I want to take you into the southeast. Couple of areas to watch. Charlotte this afternoon with some sleet and some rain. Some minor delays this morning in Atlanta due to rain. We're still having a little bit of snow in Nashville. Some showers in Orlando. Really quickly into the northeast. A much better day today. I don't see any delays because there's less wind.
For expert insight into Peter Accuracy, don't forget to download the free Accurator app or follow Accurator.com and all of our social media channels.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Your membership is more than just a card. It's your gateway to extraordinary experiences. With the AAA app, discover savings and hidden gems from dining to travel to hotel stays. Your membership is your companion, with the partner you trust. AAA, we're always with you.
this during the winter to let your car sit for a few minutes to warm up the engine. But is it really necessary? According to the Automotive Maintenance and Repair Association, cars should idle 1 to 2 minutes before driving in cold weather. When it's cold enough, that windshield will frost over. The oil needs to warm up before it can move smoothly. On the other hand, the Environmental Protection Agency disagrees. They said it would be a waste of fuel. If you must idle, then they recommend you do so no more than 30 seconds. What experts do agree on is when you begin driving, take it easy for the first 5 to 10 minutes, driving no faster than 45 miles per hour. For more safety and preparedness tips and tools, visit accuweather.com/red.
What the fuck?
Ow.
Welcome back, AccuWeather Early. Thanks for watching on this Wednesday morning.
Clapping like a seal.
Yeah.
This next story.
Take a look at this. A rescue operation that took place Sunday when a baby seal strayed away from the beach and onto the streets of New Haven, Connecticut. Look at that
I know,
fish.
so sweet. The other week, baby male gray seal received treatment for an injured flipper at the local aquarium. They do plan to release the seal back into the ocean once it recovers. So glad someone was there to help. All right, to Lakota, North Dakota, where a seal could just slide its way down the street because it's so icy out there. And look at how the moon lines up perfectly with the street lamp. Hard to tell the difference between the two.
It's as if we planned it that way. I don't know the last time I didn't see ice on this road. But then again, it's been so cold, it's certainly not melting. A little bit of a breeze as well in Lakota, but a very tranquil start to the day, but a very cold one. But I wanted to start off with positive because you know me, I'm Mr. Positive. At least it's not as cold as it's been over the last couple of mornings here. Take a look at the 24-hour temperature forecast here. So the temperature now compared to the 24 hours ago, 7 degrees higher in Sioux Falls, 8 degrees higher in Des Moines and in Peoria, and 10 degrees higher in Chicago. So that's the positive news. The not so positive news is that it's still pretty cold. And it's 9 below in Minneapolis, 12 below in Sioux Falls, 5 in Chicago, 6 in Peoria, 13 degrees in Indianapolis. The only thing we're watching today is this upper low in here. This is what's steering that storm, by the way, along the Gulf Coast out to sea. But with it, there's going to be some snow showers. Now, a lot of this is relatively light. But later on today, as this starts to move eastward, you're going to see more snow showers showing up here across Indianapolis, where we have a little light snow here this morning in Columbus as well. Now, that leaves, watch the upper low come south. There's going to be more clouds today. Cities like Green Bay, even Minneapolis will have some clouds here. Watch this zone as we get toward this afternoon. There it goes. Snow showers start increasing here tonight. I don't think it's a lot. Underneath these upper low, funny things can happen. There could be a bunch of snow with some slippery travel here tonight. It's cold in Indianapolis, 21 degrees today. A couple of flurries around Chicago, 15. Minneapolis, AccuWeather says you're only at 5 degrees with the clouds today. In Fargo, well, the good news is you're at least going to be above zero. Tonight's another cold night, not as extreme as what we've had. The exception to that statement is where it clears out. And that's in this area in here, from Sioux Falls toward Omaha, toward Des Moines, Kansas City, 12 degrees below zero. And there are those snow showers and slippery travel around Indianapolis as we go through today and tonight. Now, high pressure is in time. This high starts to leave. Now, through Friday, near the lakes, the wind flow stays in out of the north, right? So that's why it stays cold. But on the southern side or the western side of the storm, you start getting the winds coming in out of the south. And that's why when you look at the 3-day temperatures here, you note the improvement, the rapid improvement in Rapid City. I didn't even plan that. 18 degrees Thursday, back in the 40s Friday and Saturday. Scotts Bluff in at 45 degrees Saturday. Again, the cold is going to be lingering a little bit here near the lakes, but notice St. Louis, by the time we get into our Saturday, we go from 26 to 43 degrees. That's not bad at all. What a ice rink we had in Little Rock here, and even this morning doesn't look all that great either. Yeah, very slow here, travel-wise here, and it's a little icy this morning on the road, and boy, is it cold. Temperatures in the teens.
It is, yeah. I'm mesmerized. I would get nervous looking at these that something's going to happen. That's because I'm a nervous driver. 16 degrees is very mentioned in Little Rock. Let's take you back the last 24 hours and look at the storm report. Mostly a freezing rain in Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas, even North Texas, with the heaviest snow farther north. Max report there across Missouri at 11 inches of snow. You can see where some of the heaviest snow fell, but even a little bit around Little Rock and still snow on the ground. And that's likely going to stick around since we have such cold temperatures. We joked the other day in the North Central when these were the actual air temperatures. We're like, no, that's not the 24-hour temperature change. That's the actual air temperature. Well, this time it is the 24-hour temperature change. But across Texas, this is a huge change since yesterday morning in Dallas. 35 degrees colder right now than it was at this point on Tuesday. 14 in Dallas, 2 in Oklahoma City, 37 in Jackson, 37 in Corpus Christi, 10 in Lubbock, 15 in Odessa. You can see the cold, snowy conditions there and windy in Oklahoma. It's going to be a drier day today, but that Arctic air really making its presence known. I'm sure a lot of people staying inside with these temperatures being shattered in some locations. So what we're looking at is record cold high temperatures. So for Dallas, the coldest February 19th was 31 degrees back in 2006. Our forecast calls for 30. So for a lot of us in Dallas, this is the coldest air we've had since the early 2000s. In Lincoln, Nebraska, 5 degrees for today, and the previous record was back in 1894. We'll also challenge some records tonight as cold air moves in Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We'll likely tie a record to 1929 in Dallas. And most people living in Dallas have not felt temperatures this cold. It's going to be expansive across the South Central throughout the day on Thursday with that very cold air sticking around. Temperatures in some cities do start to come up, but we are still well below the historical average. In Houston, in Corpus Christi, only 49. Historical average, by the way, is 73. Dry for most of us on Friday. We'll off parts of South Texas for a few areas of showers, but the cold still lingers. And the temperature starts to moderate a little bit more by the second half of the weekend. First half of the weekend will deal with a little bit more of an increased precipitation after just a few showers in South Texas on Friday. Austin, San Antonio, Houston watch for a wet day on Saturday and chilly with the rain. Dallas gets the sunshine back out and back to the 50s. But overall, Sunday is the better day of the weekend with highs back closer to the historical average. AccuWeather has been the most accurate source of weather forecasting mornings. We've saved thousands of lives and prevented tens of billions of dollars in damage. Better protect your family and keep them safer. Download the AccuWeather app today.
Okay, little Wendy's hack. If you want a super fresh, high quality burger every time, tell them you want a hamburger. That's a hack, right? Huh? A hack-free burger made fresh for you? Gotta be Wendy's.
Certainly, we're looking at the rain in the southeast and raindrops or high in the atmosphere, probably it starts to snow. But when the entire length or column of the atmosphere is freezing, that melts in the rain and stays rain all the way down to the surface. On the other opposite end of the spectrum, if temperatures are below freezing through the entire length or column of the atmosphere, what starts as snow stays as snow when it reaches the ground. But in between, we have sleet and we have freezing rain. And oftentimes they get mixed up, but they're quite different on how they form. Now, of the two between freezing rain and sleet, freezing rain is the worst. That's when what happens is you have a large, deep, warm layer. What do I mean by deep, warm layer? The temperatures are above freezing. So high in the atmosphere, the precipitation starts as snow, but it then melts in the rain. And since the entire, almost all the entire column of the atmosphere is above freezing, it stays rain, but then you have a shallow area of cold air where temperatures are below freezing, and that rain freezes on contact, and that's how you get ice. Sleet's a little different, a little harder, because the warm layer or temperatures are above freezing is very shallow. So it starts as snow high in the atmosphere, and then it melts into a little bit of rain, but you have enough cold air before it reaches the surface that it refreezes into ice, and then it falls as sleet.
I lost that game, y'all. I'm gonna take. Okay. Hold on. Dang.
Now, the forecast for around the country. When we look at albedo, it's actually a scientific measurement of how reflective a surface is. Ties into another pretty significant significantly. So when we think about different surfaces, asphalt doesn't reflect much radiation. It actually absorbs a lot of it, so it has a really low albedo on a scale of 0 to 1. Whereas when you get to grass, it's a little bit higher. Desert sand would be even higher than that. And fresh snow comes in at a 0.8. So this is kind of the range that we can measure how much radiation is being absorbed. When we think about spring grass, no snow cover out there, a lot of that solar radiation comes in, very little of it gets bounced back into the sky, and it's why the grass can warm up fairly quickly, or any dark soil or ground can warm up when there's not snow present. But once we put the snow on the ground, it's a lot different. A lot of that solar radiation comes in, gets reflected back out into the sky, and ultimately into space, and therefore stays alive.
It's really starting to get windy now. Hey, good morning, and thanks for joining us here on AccuWeather Early. I'm Bernie right now.
I'm Ariella Scalise. Snowy sights to see yesterday, and continuing now the cold and the wind just blowing that snow around.
Oof, it is cold. Let's start with the snow. Let's take you out to the national outlook here as we're tracking this storm here. And as we click forward here, watch everything. No, wrong click. Okay, this is how snow and ice form. Let me show you what we're doing with the ice and the snow right now. There it is as it continues to move eastward, Ariella.
Yes, lots of snow, ice, rain continuing to push east here. So a wet start across the Florida Panhandle, South Georgia, and snow falling into Kentucky, West Virginia. Virginia now moving into western North Carolina. And enough cold air and wind here for another little area of some light snow showers. That's for 3 days in a row now with snow in Nebraska and Kansas.
We're tracking the rain back into the west coast from Seattle into northern parts of California. By the way, this storm comes across the Intermountain West tomorrow. The gusty winds do return to Southern California tomorrow in Friday, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal as far as the strong winds or the fire danger.
Well, the temperatures are a big deal, but everybody is talking about just how cold it is. Maybe your house is having a hard time to keep up with the cold. 7 degrees in Wichita, Denver, 18, 25 in Memphis.
And that cold goes all the way down into the heart of Texas over the next couple of days. Dallas almost 30 degrees right now. We're in the teens this morning.
Most of the snow has moved out of western and central Kansas, but the cold will hold.
AccuWeather meteorologist Tony Lawback joins us live to get us in the fold on how cold the snow is. But you know what? All you have to do is we should probably come up with an indicator based on what Tony is wearing and how much he's covering. This tells me we're well below zero.
Yeah, I actually amazed you guys went with that script I wrote. I was kind of loopy last night when I did that. So, hey, that is very bold of you guys to do that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sense of humor is great because, yeah, it is cold, and I need those things to warm my heart a little bit this morning. We're actually, in terms of the AccuWeather real field temperature, we're actually a couple of degrees better than we were this time yesterday. If you remember yesterday, you saw me out here standing 35 below. We're not quite there. We were about 31 below last I checked. That might have changed a degree or two since then, but you can imagine once you start putting all the layers on, it's a little more difficult to start handling those smaller electronic items. You mentioned that light snow, Nebraska, Kansas. We've got a little bit of that flurry activity, but at the same time, we're starting to see some peaks of clearing in the clouds. So not be surprising whatsoever if in the next hour you see me with a little bit of sunshine in the background. Despite some flakes around, because a lot of that could be blowing around, we'll show you what the traveling looked like yesterday, and minus the falling snow, you're going to see still some blowing snow issues. This was down south of Hayes, Edwards County, Kansas, kind of in those middle of nowhere counties, if you will, here in the Sunflower State. But give you an idea of just how treacherous the travel was yesterday. We talked about the visibility issues being really the biggest issue. Parts of the road had some snowpack, but for the most part, the roads were generally pretty clear. That snow, as light as fluffy as it is very, very difficult to really stick onto the road. It does in places where it's a little more sheltered from the wind, and those are kind of the areas that trip you up a little bit, especially if you're behind a larger vehicle like a semi or somebody towing an RV, and they hit one of those spots and you start kicking up all that snow. You start to really get into some of those zero visibility moments, kind of artificially created, not so much naturally created, if you will. So travel not exactly the best yesterday. I advised a lot of people stay home for sure because you didn't want to find yourself getting stranded out there with temperatures as cold as they were, and a lot of people heeding that advice. Most folks not leaving their immediate towns do not see a lot of people on not only the rural roads, but Interstate 70 is generally pretty clear as well. So not a lot of folks out there traveling. Really, it's just a day nobody wants to be out in to begin with. You have to warm up your car. That's the whole process. Trying to just get everything packed. If you're traveling, you're dealing with all that. Just not the funnest thing to be doing first thing in the morning. And really, temperature's not expected to warm up very much. That extreme cold supposed to hang in through about Thursday before we start to see a gradual warm up of temperatures here in the plains. So this is probably going to be one of the more colder, more miserable storms that folks are going to experience. Again, the brunt of the precipitation, the accumulated snowfall, pretty much done, other than a few pockets of some moderate snow that might spur up here. I really think we're just going to be dealing with flurries. Like I said, we've got some clear skies and actually starting to see some color as the sun is starting to come up. So good news that the sun will make a return, but I guarantee you it ain't going to make it feel any better.
Tony, the cold sticking around like mold, and you really sold it. There we
I like that.
Continuing with the old, but you're not old.
No. And the orange brightens up the picture. Okay.
Oh, he's maybe saying he is old, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. He's showing his gray on his beard. All right, outside of Richmond, Virginia.
Very scrappy. Scrappy.
I'm not sure if that word
Of course
means.
you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we need to, I need to bring a dictionary for all my slang terms.
Yes.
Okay, Richmond, we've seen a little bit of snow. You can see the white on the buildings here right now. Right now, the roads are relatively clear, but we are tracking that snow as it continues to run eastward here. Back edge of the snow through Nashville, where we had about an inch of snow this morning, snowing in Knoxville, snowing in Charleston. You can see that little area here where the snow is coming down as well. A lot of this is relatively light. The atmosphere is cold and it is dry across Virginia right now. That heavier snow in the dark blue, we're going to track that eastward as we go through today. Heavier snow is going to be around Virginia Beach and the Norfolk area, where you're going to see over 6 inches of snow. But the dark blue makes its way up in toward the Richmond area, and then south of Washington, D.C., I think toward Fredericksburg, there's going to be a little bit of snow, at least a couple of inches today. Now, Washington, D.C., you're on the northern edge. We didn't see about an inch of snow this afternoon, but certainly it's going to be enough snow to coat the roads and make things slippery, so do be careful. But Washington, D.C., you're on the northern edge of this. Even Baltimore, I think it's mostly some flurries as we head toward today. You can see how that snow then starts to arc here a little bit back to the northwest with a little bit of snow from Atlantic City toward Wildwood. Then we start talking about Dover, Delaware, Salisbury, Maryland getting into snow. And you start getting towards Chincoteague National Park. There's going to be at least a few inches of snow. Heavy snow around Virginia Beach. Then I want you to start watching the Midwest, because as our storm departs later today, here comes our upper low. You see that? From snow showers around Indianapolis and Columbus. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. These upper lows can produce mischief and mayhem, and there it goes as we head toward tomorrow morning. The snow in Pittsburgh, snow is over in Virginia Beach, and then those snow showers move toward Washington, D.C., and even New York City. I think there's going to be a period of snow or snow showers with that upper low tomorrow. Heavy snow accumulations you can see across southeastern parts of Virginia. Around Richmond, we're looking at 4 to 8 inches of snow, 6 to 10 around the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, the southern parts of Maryland. And again, once you get toward the I-95 corridor, not a whole lot of snow as we go through today. And want to end with Virginia Beach. Big snowstorm for you, and watch the ice in southeastern North Carolina today. That's going to be a problem, Ariella.
All right, well, ice could be a problem and snow, but we've seen the winter weather advisories, as I mentioned, a lot of those were expiring here across Mississippi and Louisiana, but still seeing those hanging on into North Georgia and northern Alabama, including Huntsville, including Chattanooga, including Rome, as we've been seeing some winter weather. But it's also been some pretty heavy rainfall, especially in New Orleans, that has seen nearly 3 inches of rain over the last 24 hours. The heaviest rain has already come to you in New Orleans. Most of that has now shifted to the east, and it's the Florida Panhandle that's been seeing a very wet start to the morning. There was also a lot of lightning earlier. That has also since weekend, not seeing a lot of that inland, mostly offshore. And then starting to see less and less snow, but it could still be snow covered out there, but mostly now transitioning over to rain. But let's watch still for some of those freezing rain impacts. Panama City, Pensacola, Dothan dealing with the rain, lighter in Mobile at this time, and Albany also dealing with the rain. Still nothing in Atlanta here. Most of that has been farther to the north and west, and seeing the snow now move out of Huntsville after a bit of a wintry morning. General setup as our storm tracks to the east, bringing more areas of rain and thunderstorms. These stay farther south here as we head into the afternoon. We'll take you through a future radar as we watch some of that rain continue as say Savannah, Hilton Head into Charleston, South Carolina, and a wet afternoon into Jacksonville. I think eventually this makes its way a bit farther south, so Orlando, Tampa, having some rain through the evening hours that may briefly impact the evening commute. And then we'll see some of those showers kind of lingering across Central and South Florida through tonight. Cold weather tonight. Look at Atlanta, 26 degrees, 13 in Nashville, 20 in Jackson, and 31 in New Orleans with some gustier winds. Thursday's going to stay dry, but it's going to be extremely cold throughout the day Thursday. Matter of fact, so cold that we'll likely be setting some record temperatures, meaning the coldest ever for our February 20th, at least. Birmingham, 38, the previous record at 2015, 36 the forecast on Thursday. For expert insight and superior accuracy, don't forget to download the free Accuweather app or follow AccuWeather.com.
My mental health was better, but uncontrollable movements called TD, tardive dyskinesia, started disrupting my day.
TD felt embarrassing. I felt like disconnecting. I asked my doctor about treating my TD and learned about Ingrezza.
Ingrezza is clinically proven to treat TD, quickly reducing TD by greater than 5 times in 2 weeks. #1 prescribed Ingrezza has dosing that's always 1 pill once daily, and you can keep taking most mental health meds. Ingrezza can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden behavior or mood changes, or suicidal thoughts. Don't take Ingrezza if allergic. Serious side effects may include allergic reactions like sudden, potentially fatal swelling and hives, sleepiness, the most common side effect, and heart rhythm problems. Know how Ingrezza affects you before operating a car or dangerous machinery. Report fever, stiff muscles, or problems thinking, as these might be life-threatening. Shaking, stiffness, drooling, and trouble with moving or balance may occur.
Take control by asking your doctor about Ingrezza.
Now, the forecast from around the country.
But I don't look like me. I don't even have no hair.
And welcome back to AccuWeather Early. Thanks for watching on this Wednesday morning.
Appreciate you being here as we start our day off, and it's starting very cold, very snowy. I'm sure lots of snow days there for the kids and teachers because of news like this in Charleston.
Where it's been snowing throughout the morning. I don't see a whole lot, but you know everything's moving just fine at the moment. That's certainly good news here. The story in the Northeast, though, is not only the snow, but certainly the cold here. And for the Northeast, there's so much cold and dry air that this storm is not coming eastward. It's actually going to be moving off the coast, and for much of the Northeast, you're not going to get much snow out of this. But let's talk about the cold. Go cold here this morning. 9 in Portland, 5 in Burlington. We're in the teens in New York City, and we're up to 10 in Pittsburgh. Now, the big story so far this week hasn't been any snow or any ice. It's been the wind. That has been relentless over the last couple of days. And even now, there's somewhere here. These are the sustained winds. It's still
I didn't put my beard on.
Washington, D.C., New York City, 14 miles per hour in Boston. So AccuWeather real field temperatures in the single numbers and teens here this morning, but the wind certainly not as strong as what we've seen over the last couple of days here. It's this northerly flow, though, and you can kind of see this on the water vapor loop. I have this, that you see how you start getting all the movement out of the north. And while we do have some moisture, if you look closely on the water vapor loop, this is where you have the dark greens. And you see right toward Washington, D.C. on north, you have some moisture, but it's not deep moisture, right? And that's why there's not going to be much snow here. Once we get to Washington, D.C. on north, it's mostly southern areas that are going to be impacted from this storm. Now, we have this upper low back across the Midwest. We're going to be watching that as we go through tomorrow. So let me show you what's going on the radar. There it is. We're looking at Charleston. It's snowing here lightly. Little band of snow. This is the northern extent of it. So Washington, D.C., I think you are going to get a period of snow this afternoon that can go maybe an inch or so, but it's going to be enough to coat the ground and make things slippery because the air is so cold. It's farther south where you start picking up the accumulating snow here. Let me show you future radar. Watch everything come eastward here. I think you're going to have a lot of difficulty getting anything in Philadelphia. I think in Philadelphia, you have to wait for the upper low tomorrow afternoon for some snow showers. As we head toward 5 o'clock, here comes the snow. It starts angling a little bit. Right now, it's like east to west. We start tilting it a little bit from northeast to southwest. That's going to get the snow in toward Wildwood. Period of snow in Atlantic City. Certainly some heavier snow around Virginia Beach. That's going to be the epicenter of the storm. But here comes the upper low with snow showers and slippery travel from Detroit toward Columbus, Pittsburgh. Still some snow around Charleston. Watch how that moves into Washington, D.C. tomorrow morning. Let's keep an eye on that. And then here comes the snow showers with that upper low as it moves toward Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. You see that? Right in here with that upper low. Now, the problem with this snow, it may not be uniform. It may be bursty where you have bursts of snow. Other areas, it's just a few flakes. So let's keep an eye on that tomorrow afternoon around New York City as that upper low comes in. And you notice how the snow from the storm, while it's offshore, tries to angle back toward the Cape, the islands, and coastal parts of Rhode Island and Connecticut here. So our 1 to 3, we take it right up toward Washington, D.C. I think it's about an inch or so. But as you start getting south, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, once you get toward southern parts of Delaware, southern Maryland, around Salisbury, Maryland, 3 to 6. And then you're 6 inches or more south and east of Richmond, we're thinking 4 to 8. Watch yourself around Virginia Beach, about 6 to 10 inches of snow as we get toward today into tonight. By Friday, high pressure builds in. The big story here is the cold's locked in. I mean, it's not going anywhere until the weekend, right? will start to modify things, try to get us back to where we should be for this time of the year. Outside we go to Nashville, it's cold here. They had about an inch of snow and some slippery travel here. Now, the good news is, Ariella, it looks as like these roads have been treated because they were snow covered. Now they're mostly wet, but motorists are taking it slow.
As they should there. American flag going a little bit, so a slight breeze. Not a pleasant day to be outside as it is cold out there. That's the truth for much of the southeast. For others, the cold of the Arctic blast has not made it quite this far south, but eventually it will. 33 in Atlanta, 45 in Montgomery, and 56 in New Orleans. Tomorrow morning will be some 20 degrees colder than the temperatures right now. But the roads, plenty of cold air that's been in place here, so we've got plenty of roads into northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and even parts of North Georgia, that the road temperatures are at 32 degrees. So any precipitation likely sticking on roads that have not been treated. And that's what our map is showing. Some snow cover and ice covered roads in Mississippi and Alabama, even through Arkansas at this point. Still dry in Atlanta, but the moisture is going to make it to you here as we get through the day. At times we've had some gustier winds right now. The strongest wind in Raleigh, winds gusting at nearly 30 miles per hour, and that's coming due north. So it is cold there in Raleigh this morning as the snow just to our north and west. Some rain showers right now in southeastern North Carolina, but I'd say that's a spot to watch for some ice. We still see some of those icier conditions at the first hour of this loop here, but now at the most recent hour, it's mostly snow in North Georgia, and then the heavier rain still across parts of the Florida Panhandle. Jacksonville, it's been wet for you this morning. We'll follow rain moving to the east through the afternoon. Gusty winds at times, and then that northerly flow, you can see the white lines here starting to make it all the way down to Montgomery to Jackson, New Orleans. So falling temperatures with clouds this afternoon and breezy conditions, and not a friendly feeling Wednesday. And watch yourself across central Florida, Tampa to Orlando, also dealing with some areas of rain and thunderstorms before the cooler air makes it to Florida as well. At least North Florida here through tonight. Jacksonville down to 42, Tampa 55, Miami 70. 26 though in Atlanta and 31 in New Orleans. So plenty of cold on the way tonight into tomorrow. We'll likely be setting some records for how cold it will be on Thursday. The high only 22 in Nashville. Like the others, have proven to be the most accurate source of forecasts and warnings, saving thousands of lives and preventing tens of billions of dollars in damage. Better protect your family and keep them safer. Download the app today.
Oh, bitch, it's all.
It's time for the best and worst weather of the day.
Oh, there's lots of bad.
Yeah, there's plenty of that. In fact, even the good, there's not many good because
Yeah,
there's so much cold,
Like
right?
Southern California, Arizona, even parts of Florida are not as great anymore because it's going to be raining there
Yeah,
today.
you have a front
So
coming
where'd you
on.
go?
So I went to the West Coast too, and I went to LA,
Yeah.
where it's, I mean, there it is.
Sure.
This is why people live in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
Now, there's plenty of bad weather sometimes.
Sure.
You know, when it's bad in Southern California, it's very bad. When it's good, it is pristine.
Yeah.
Beautiful day today,
Mhm.
70 degrees here, lower 70s. Watch the wind through the canyons and passes tomorrow, but we start things off in the lower 50s, end at 71, and AccuWeather real field temperature in at 73 degrees today. It's a beautiful day.
All right, I went to Sedona because this is the time of year I'm like, oh, much of the flight be to Sedona. 65 degrees for today, not too warm, not too cool. Sunshiny clouds for today. We'll look at the real field temperatures, cooler with the desert air in the morning and then 60s by the afternoon, and it really stays consistent for Thursday and Friday.
All right, worse weather. There's a big snowstorm.
Oh, I didn't know we had it in the system.
Yes, I mean, it's a total of 6 to 10 inches of snow, just 2 to 4 today, but it keeps thumping here tonight. And AccuWeather real field temperatures in Virginia Beach.
I had them up for you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't. That was okay. Anyway, look at that. They fall into the single numbers.
They do.
Gusty winds.
I feel
And those winds are always gusty when they're coming out of the north because they funnel into the bay there.
Yeah, then the cold winter is here. I should just
You
let
don't
you do
have
it
much
yourself.
time.
I know, Greenville. This is where the ice accumulates. It's going to be very dangerous for travel and power outages. Okay. To the control room, Tony.
Tony.
The ice.
Yeah, look at that, Tony.
Sedona?
Meet Dutch, vet care right from your home. Dutch gives you unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups with licensed, experienced vets and prescription medications delivered to your door. No waiting rooms, no car rides, no hassle. Get a year of vet care for under $100 with code VETS.
That's boy.
Now, the forecast from around the country.
If you've driven in the colder regions, you've probably seen the signs warning you that the bridge ahead could get icy before the road does. Because bridges are exposed to low temperatures from all sides, they're more likely to ice over quickly. Roads, on the other hand, don't freeze as fast because the ground provides insulation so it only loses heat from the surface. Also, many bridges are located over cold bodies of water. Most modern bridges are made out of steel and concrete, which are good heat conductors. This means that the heat is drawn out of the bridge to the surface, where heat is quickly lost due to the cold air circulating around it. Roads are mostly made from asphalt, which is a poor conductor of heat. According to the Federal Highway Administration, each year over 1,300 people are killed in crashes involving snowy, slushy, or icy roads. That's why it's important to be extra careful when driving over bridges in frigid conditions. For more safety preparedness tips and tools, visit AccuWeather.com/ready.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us here on AccuWeather Early. Bernie Rayno.
And I'm Ariella Scalise. Earlier, Bernie asked if he could have a third cup of coffee. I said yes, but I said nothing about cookies.
Yeah, we had cookies, and when we started the last show, I didn't have my clicker because I left it by the cookies.
You gotta retrace your steps.
I try not to eat cookies, and I try not to eat that stuff, but when it's there.